JC returns to Battery Park and, after some searching, overhears a conversation about the underground.
Oh, thank you again. My hands get so cold.
Yeah, like I said, we'll probably both get kicked out when whoever it is gets back. I live underground.
All the same.
I can think of safer places to camp. After all the fighting tonight.
Cops said I could be here. Besides, I ain't camping. I'm with the mole people.
Why the name Mole People?
They call us that because we live underground. Like they're some kind of superior beings or something because they got more money than we do.
Maybe you should join your people. Anywhere underground would be safer than Battery Park.
The moles need someone topside. And besides, it's been pretty quiet. I'd rather be here than have the NSF tromping around with machine guns.
The NSF are hiding out with the Mole People?
Yeah, they haven't hurt anybody. We guess it's all right.
I need to contact the NSF. Think you could tell me how to find the moles?
Sure. Just give me the password so I know they trust you.
It's a matter of national security.
Still need a password.
In search of a password, JC returns into the cold night air to explore the area, until he comes across Harley Philbin, who offers him the mole password for a price.
Thanks again for the key.
It wasn't a favor. I was well paid.
A real patriot.
I see it like this. It all balances out. UNATCO's just as much gun freaks as the militias, and if everybody's gonna shoot it out, fine, so long as neither side wins and takes over the whole country.
The goal of UNATCO is not conquest. It's the safety of ordinary people like yourself.
I know an army when I see one. Look, I'll be blunt. Got any cash? There's a secret passage behind that phone booth over there. For 500, I'll tell you where to get the code.
We think they're loading the Ambrosia onto a plane. You heard anything about that?
Nothing I can put a price on. UNATCO already thinks it's Juan Lebedev.
Lebedev?
I don't know who else it could be. He owns a whole terminal at LaGuardia. Manderley's been trying to bump him off for years.
Since when is LaGuardia for sale?
City had some debts a few years back. There's always a buyer. But Lebedev's small time. He can't buy off the big politicians like a Bob Page.
Who does he buy off?
People lower down, but useful. Some of your buddies at UNATCO, actually.
Who?
You can't afford that one. How about that phone code?
Sure. 500 for where I can find the code to the phone booth.
Talk to Curly in the shantytown at Battery Park. He's from the Mole People settlement. You have to give him the password Underworld.
I think I talked to the guy. He said the NSF were hiding out with the moles. Are they allies?
They both hate the feds, but that's it. The moles don't want a war. They just want to be left alone in the tunnels.
Aiding and sympathizing. Just as bad as being a terrorist yourself, in my opinion.
I doubt the NSF gave them much choice.
There's actually a scene I missed in this playthrough earlier, where someone in Hell's Kitchen is being shaken down for their shoes by thugs. It turns violent, and if you save them, you would already have this password as a reward.
Do something, man. They're gonna kill him.
Nothing. I checked his pockets. You don't live underground and not have one of Charlie's cards. Make him take off his shoes.
I just sleep down there. They don't give you money unless you're on the council.
Take off your shoes. Charlie has no reason to be stingy if he has a currency encoder.
They just hacked a few accounts. They have some extra cash, that's it.
I'm not asking again.
It's just a bunch of us. We go down there to get out of the cold.
All right, we'll do it the hard way.
Did you see that?
Yes,
That was uncalled for. You mug people great, you need the dough, but you show some respect.
What were they after?
Especially when it's your ally. They came to us. They wanted an underground base.
So those guys were NSF?
Yeah, the NSF gives guns to anybody who wants to fight. A lot of people just take the guns and do what they want.
So the terrorists are based in the subways? The sewers?
They need to move some kind of secret equipment. Our tunnels are like the crossroads.
Tell me how to find this base, and I bet I can get the NSF off your back.
Underworld. Just remember that word when you see Curly. He lets people in. Me, personally, I don't rob. I think it's wrong.
A guy sent me to talk to you. You're Curly, right?
Yeah, what do you want?
I heard you have the code to the phone booth in the subway.
You want to go down to the Brooklyn Bridge Station? That's near the Mole People settlement. You need the Mole password.
Underworld is the password.
Why didn't you say so? The phone code's MOLE. That's 665-tree.
Thanks.
When you get to the Brooklyn Bridge Station, talk to Charlie. He'll get you into the tunnels where we live.
JC still harbors some of his disdain for the NSF and anything labeled as part of terror at this point. Despite this, he still tries to keep bloodshed to a minimum and his mind open. He ventures down into the Mole People tunnels to question those that live there.
Hey man, you got any Zyme?
Take a vial.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man.
Now maybe you can calm down for a second and tell me how to get to the Mole People hideout.
Yeah, sure. They're in the tunnels.
And?
The keypad's under the sink, in the woman's bathroom. Everybody knows that.
The code?
Got me. The Mole People keep me out because they don't like Zyme. Hey, thanks, dude.
What you need, bro? Vials are $250.
Know where I can find the Mole People?
Good neighbors keep each other's business private.
You want to set a price?
I'm a good neighbor. You want to buy something or not?
You have a problem?
Get out! I got a bomb!
A bomb's a bad choice for close-range combat.
Might as well use it. Rock says I owe him. He won't even give me one vial for it.
What kind of bomb?
I think they said it was called a lamb.
Suppose I could part with a vial of Zyme if you'll give me the lamb.
You got some? Really?
Yeah, let's see the lamb.
Take it, man. Whatever. Where's the Zyme?
Hope it lasts.
You can trade the drug Zyme to some of the inhabitants if you have some. This will get you information and a lamb. If you want to, you can knock them unconscious and take it back. While this keeps the drugs away from them, the morality starts to seem even more questionable. As JC continues through the tunnels, he can acquire lamb for taking out a dealer for a local gang leader, El Rey. If you choose to just knock him unconscious, you get a special dialogue that accounts for that.
I got rid of the dealer downstairs. Knocked him unconscious, flat on his back.
Unconscious? You deaf? I said I want homeboy dead. You gonna survive on the street, bro, you gotta have some sense. Like what I tell my crew. No mercy. When it's you and the enemy, no mercy.
I used as much force as the situation required. You trying to lecture me on tactics?
Take it easy, we work it out. I get one of my boys to finish the hit. Good enough? That guy? He's been in my way for months. Now I got the whole station. You can have the lamp. Now I can afford me a Gep gun.
It always feels good to play a game where your choices seem to have real in-game effects, with dialogue, scenes, or the environment changing. Once in the area with the NSF, JC decides to sneak past the standard forces to get to the leader. While Deus Ex has a lot of interesting and high-quality elements, it also has some jank, as seen in my first attempt to do this, where an alarm leads to a minor issue during the dialogue.
I surrender.
Tell me what you know about the Ambrosia shipment.
I'll cooperate. Relax. The key to the men's restroom is on the table.
Restroom? I'm looking for an airfield.
First you gotta go through the restroom to some tunnels. The airfield's about a mile to...
This better not be a joke.
Hey, I'm just an accountant. I know the body armor looks threatening, but I'm part-time, like a reservist. I don't want any trouble.
This guy wasn't just a grunt. What's going on?
Restroom. I'm looking for an airfield.
First you gotta go through the restroom to some tunnels. The airfield's about a mile to the east.
This better not be a joke.
Hey, I'm just an accountant. I know the body armor looks threatening, but I'm part-time, like a reservist. I don't want any trouble.
After surviving the dialogue and talking to the leader, the NSF troops actually stand down and JC can just continue towards the airfield and the stolen ambrosia. The NSF and the mole people also seem to be eating the cats, eating the dogs. Deeper in, JC comes across two guards that seem to mention the involvement of Paul.
The panel's secured.
Good. The booby traps?
Installed. They really think he'll make it this far?
Paul said not to take any chances.
Well, I guess he would know.
We already knew Paul was holding back when fighting the NSF, but now it seems he may be talking with them directly. What's his relationship with them, really? For now, JC will have to put it out of his mind and continue towards Lebedev's airfield. The airfield itself is a private section of LaGuardia. JC surfaces from the tunnels into a pristine office building, flanked on both sides by offices, with an exterior straight ahead, hosting a helipad and a combat chopper. One of the barrels of ambrosia is sitting in the lobby, leaving only two left to find here. The helipad area, and the airfield itself, soon, is another fun playground for the player. There are ladders leading up to catwalks far above the helipad for those that want to shoot down on the enemies, and a maze of crates on the ground for those that want to sneak around, or to platform around on them to get unique angles. There are also explosive barrels placed around the level for use against the NSF troops or security bots. Closer to the hangar, the airfield opens up into a large lot filled with shipping crates and security bots, and it's surrounded by security towers with turrets. This section of the airport lies near the water, and checking the docks, we find another barrel of ambrosia. One left, and UNATCO believes it's probably on the jet with Lebedev. JC moves through a guardhouse connected to the hangar and finds a newspaper detailing seasonal flooding and the climate. It seems in this world, around 2052, tides were rising something like 4 meters the last year in New York. For comparison, in the real world, tides have been found to grow something like 0.13 inches or 3.4 millimeters per year. In the game, this is caused by melting ice caps and reflects some real fears about climate change and its implications. Deus Ex regularly brings up real-world concepts, conspiracies, and events. Though these videos try to keep focus on the game world, part of the experience of the game is being prompted to think about these real-world issues. I also enjoy thinking and talking about this sort of big-picture stuff, though I don't plan on giving opinions on any modern or current political situation. Moving on, we finally enter the hangar, where the game truly begins to take us down the rabbit hole.
You can relax, JC. I told the troops to stand down. That's right. I'm working for the NSF. I'll meet you at the 747.
Excellent work. I underestimated your abilities. You work for the NSF?
Listen to what I've got to say. We don't have much time.
You got that right. UNATCO will have a team here in a few minutes.
The Grey Death is a man-made virus. Everyone up to the President is at UNATCO's mercy as long as UNATCO controls the supply of ambrosia.
You believe that?
We have proof. We need to get the ambrosia to Hong Kong. Heard of Tracer Tong? He can help us synthesize it ourselves.
You better step away from the jet. Your boss is my next objective.
Join us, JC. Talk to Lebedev. He can convince you. Get on the plane. We're almost ready to go.
Blackmail of the U.S. government could not possibly escape the notice of the United Nations.
Don't be so quick to trust the UN.
Are you kidding? The UN's about the only chance we've got these days. If the U.S. spirals into another civil war...
A pretext, nothing more.
The whole project of world government, going back to the League of Nations, has been funded and manipulated mainly by wealthy bankers. Is that so? Remember that the UN itself was built on land donated by John D. Rockefeller. Get on board. A UNATCO security squad will be here any minute. The wealthy have always been the ones to profit from one world government.
Paul was working with the NSF this whole time. So that's why he seemed so insistent on minimal force and so reluctant to attack them in Hell's Kitchen. JC pleads with Paul to return to UNATCO, but it's too late. And Paul claims to have proof that talking to Lebedev will enlighten JC. On the plane, the last barrel of ambrosia is located, and JC finds Lebedev.
That's the last one. Good work.
I surrender.
What?
Easy now, Agent. UNATCO has a policy against killing unarmed prisoners. We have much to learn from each other.
We're assuming control of the airfield. The vaccine will be returned to the international authorities.
Don't you want to hear why your brother came over to our side?
He makes his own decisions.
You know he wouldn't betray UNATCO without a reason.
Good work. Now finish the job.
He surrendered. He's an unarmed prisoner. UNATCO policy protects him.
Terminate the prisoner, Agent. If you are too afraid, you are ordered to return to base on Manderley's authority. There is a helicopter waiting. I have the command here now.
If you know something, just tell me.
The question you've got to ask, I'm surprised you haven't, is the obvious one. Who am I? Who made me, and for what purpose?
UNATCO has briefed me on my augmentations. Get to the point.
Return to base, Agent Denton. I will handle this.
Your parents were murdered precisely because they could have told you the correct answer to that question.
That's a pretty big claim.
You didn't have parents. The ones you knew were employees. You were made by a cabal of technophiles so crazed for power that they would control not only governments and people, but the chemistry of our bodies as well.
Leave us, Agent. Now. You are worthless if you cannot obey a simple order.
Sounds like a picture-perfect description of the NSF.
Think bigger, Agent. Think global.
You have disobeyed a direct order.
Do you think it's an accident that the cure for the global plague is owned by a single corporation, and that it's kept so secret that only the tabloids dare print a story suggesting it exists?
The supply is limited. That doesn't mean there's a conspiracy.
But where does that corporation manufacture the cure? And where did your brother uncover the information that brought him over to our side?
Go on.
I can tell by the expression on your friend's face that she knows where I'm heading. UNATCO is completely correct to think that Tracer Tong will soon understand Ambrosia. He was the one who was going to receive this shipment.
Why tell me all this?
I've said nothing that UNATCO won't find on this plane's computer. But here's the secret. This is what Paul was so interested to hear from Tracer Tong.
Manderley will be disappointed in your insubordination.
If you don't interfere at this point, Anna kills Lebedev before JC can continue asking questions. But that isn't what our JC chooses.
I guess Paul must have convinced you.
All right. We're alone. If you have proof of a conspiracy, let's hear it.
You're the proof. You and Paul. When you get back to UNATCO, pay attention. Something's not right. You're really working for a group of conspirators called Majestic 12.
You expect me to believe there's a group of people powerful enough to control the United Nations?
The UN and UNATCO are just a couple of their tools. UNATCO has already occupied the airfield. Just go through the motions and report back to Liberty Island. I can't do anything for you here.
Jesus, JC, that was Agent Navarre. She was out of line there about the execution, but oh my God. Manderley will have you shot. We have to erase the log files. I don't like this, but I'll protect you this time. I guess you have to stand up for what you believe.
It was a split-second decision, a hair-triggered choice between the truth and order. There may be no going back from this, but in the moment, past and future faded away and a choice was made. JC chose to stop Anna and to hear Lebedev out. He claims UNATCO had JC's parents murdered, that the accident JC thought happened was a lie, that Paul found something that made him switch sides, and now about a secret group called Majestic 12. A group so powerful that they control the UN, UNATCO, and more. JC's place in the world seemed to be getting smaller and smaller at a dizzying rate, caught in a web of conspiracy and power struggles only now becoming visible. Who is he? What does the world want with him? And what does he want? Thankfully, Alex sides with JC and hides what happened with Anna, giving JC the chance to return to UNATCO as if nothing happened. One last time.
Manderley has assigned me the peacekeeping occupation of the airport.
Standard procedure, it appears. I'm sure we can count on you.
I want to be the one to execute Lebedev.
Yeah, well, there was shooting on the 747. I didn't see what happened. Maybe Anna beat you to it.
I will investigate. She might need backup.
Hey, about my brother.
A shame that we have to track down and kill one of our most advanced agents. At least we have one of you left.
Don't you think we should give Paul a chance to explain himself? He's been with UNATCO for years.
Only one thing can happen when you break your oath to the Coalition. I will be truthful. I have requested the assignment of the Paul Denton assassination.
Gunter told me about Paul.
It's true. Paul's been working for the NSF.
This is gonna shake up the Coalition, JC. I don't know if you realized how important your brother was.
Coalition will recover. I'm not so worried about the Coalition.
UN officials will probably get involved. You'll have to keep your head down if you're gonna come through this in one piece. Sure you're ready to head back to base?
I'm ready. Let's move out.
Get in.
You better get downstairs for a debriefing.
Arriving back at UNATCO this time didn't feel like coming home. After learning about the potential conspiracy surrounding UNATCO and the world, it was more like learning something new, something bad about a long-time friend that changes how you see them. How many people here are part of the conspiracy? How many are here to help, that really believe in the mission and that UNATCO is a force for good? I've learned something bad about this place. Maybe I don't love it anymore, but I don't know if I hate it. It just looks like something I thought I knew. JC walks the halls of the compound, the walls feeling closer than they've ever been, and listens in on several conversations.
It's a question of who benefits society more.
But who decides that? You?
It's implicit.
I think Paul just had a soft spot for the plague victims.
Every human institution is like a pyramid. Those with ability are at the top. They're more important.
Maybe it's the foundation that's important. When the foundation's gone...
They make the decisions. They keep the machine running. Therefore, they must be protected first.
I'm not saying Paul was right.
It's basic tactics. Protect your command centers, your airstrips, your industrial zones.
It's just the rationing. Seems like the government could pay VersaLife to manufacture more.
What kind of pain?
Behind the eyes, a sharp burning, almost electrical.
How's your bioelectric level?
It's always at 100%. I like to stay prepared.
That's probably it right there. Free radicals. You should charge your systems only when they've been significantly drained.
I wasn't informed of that.
It's a lot like an electric razor. If you leave it plugged in all the time, the battery loses its 0 point. Just watch your levels.
Interesting. Thanks, Doctor.
Let me know how it goes.
Get everybody patched up?
Everybody except you. You look terrible.
I took a few hits this time. Nothing I can't treat myself.
Well, let me know if I can help. As usual, take what you need from the med center.
Thanks.
They just dropped off a few liters of the ambrosia you recovered, by the way.
Good work out there, Denton. I want you to know, we will not let your brother's activity cast its shadow on you.
Yes, sir. I'm grateful for that. I just wish we'd found out sooner.
No harm done. We have you to take his place.
Is a few liters going to be enough?
Well, no one on staff's gonna catch Grey Death this
Paul said UNATCO uses the ambrosia supply to influence national governments. What do you think about that?
So it's true. He went over to the NSF.
He makes some sense. I spared his boss, Juan Lebedev.
What did Manderley say?
I didn't talk to him yet.
You better get to his office. He's not going to like that one bit. If there's a conspiracy, it's a VersaLife. They're the ones making money off the plague.
You won't give up, will you?
What's wrong?
Agent Denton's the guy I met in the bathroom.
Oh, I see.
How are you holding up?
Not so good. I don't know who to trust anymore.
No one blames you about Lebedev. You refused an order to kill in cold blood, precisely your duty as a UNATCO peacekeeper.
I think Manderley will.
He'll cool down. The important thing is that you obey your conscience.
Right.
Tell me what you need, and I'll load you up.
I'll take the tranquilizer darts for the crossbow.
A man of tactics. I like that.
I saw you listening in. Yes, it's true. I have augmentations like yours.
Don't you work down in Washington?
Actually, I'm the director of FEMA.
Sounds like you wouldn't have much use for physical augmentations.
You underestimate the demands of my work. We deal with every sort of natural and unnatural disaster you can imagine.
But you're the director. You work behind a desk.
Am I behind a desk right now? No, I'm not. That's because we have a situation here in New York. I got to my position because I can fix things. You will see shortly because, as you have probably noticed yourself, this agency is broken and needs an overhaul.
What do you mean by overhaul?
You will receive a memo in a few days. I am still collecting data.
UNATCO was very effective this evening. We recaptured the shipment.
You don't have to worry, Agent. It's the softer elements I am after.
Like who?
You're beginning to exceed your clearance. What are you? Angel OA?
Excuse my persistence. I'll wait for the memo.
Good. Carry on.
After talking with various people, JC needs to go see Alex, who requested they meet up to discuss what happened on the plane.
What the hell were you thinking, JC?
Agent Navarro was out of line. I had no choice.
They'll have you killed. They won't even blink an eye.
Neither did I.
Well, watch what you say around Manderley. Let's leave it at that. I've been in contact with Gunther, by the way. No sign of your brother at the airport.
He sure caused his share of trouble. I don't know what to think anymore.
I wonder what it is he found out. Why he'd defect.
He thinks he has proof of a conspiracy.
Wild stuff, huh? I'd like to hear what he has to say. If you hear from him, or if you find out where he is, don't worry about the info link. I'll erase the archives.
You think he's right?
Worth hearing him out. I've never known Paul to make a mistake.
JC is struggling with who to trust and what to believe. It seems his whole world may have been dancing lights on a curtain, a truth hidden somewhere beyond. He resolves to hear Paul out, to see this proof he claims to have. But first, he'll have to meet with Manderley.
Here, take your op bonus. 1,000. No use splitting hairs this time.
I have some bad news about Agent Navarro.
No shit. What the hell happened in there?
Lebedev. A surprise attack.
I find that hard to believe. You're digging your own grave if you cover up for your brother.
Yes, sir. I'm not covering up for Paul, sir.
Because he's gone, JC. I hope you'll understand this. The Coalition has shut down his augmentations and activated the kill switch.
Activated? What?
Some very important officials have become nervous. Nervous about Paul, but also about you.
I think I've proved myself. Can they really kill him by pressing a button?
Yes, and you too. So take these orders seriously. They're sending you to Hong Kong.
What about Paul? Will I get to see him again?
Please, just get your equipment and meet our pilot Jock at the helipad. You'll need to take out a man called Tracer Tong, Paul's contact in Hong Kong. Prove that they can trust you. JC?
Yes.
It's critical that they trust you. The only way to allay their suspicions of you, JC, is to actively work against your brother's allies.
A nearby newspaper tells a story about how when the NSF attack happened, UNATCO tried to resolve it peacefully through negotiation, but the NSF initiated an attack. JC was there, and that's not how it went down. UNATCO and its agents were all too happy to eliminate the NSF with overwhelming force. Maybe this would just be normal corporate PR, soft language that one could expect. But with the recent knowledge of the potential conspiracy and secret power struggles, it's easy to wonder just how much is covered up. How much news is filtered to be whatever those in power want you to see. How often, what small, insignificant stories were a cover for something larger. There's also an email from Jaime to Manderley about prisoners who had seemingly been tortured during interrogation. We saw Walton Simons execute prisoners earlier in the game, but this email makes it seem like it's a problem that extends past an individual and to UNATCO itself. JC makes his way to the helipad, where Jock is waiting.
I'm taking you to New York.
My orders are to go to Hong Kong.
Your brother's in trouble. You need to meet him in Hell's Kitchen at the apartment.
What's wrong?
I'll let him speak for himself. He just wanted me to get you to the hotel.
Never should have transferred.
He doesn't have much time.
Your brother's hurt pretty bad.